Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins and I hope you're well today. It is a frigid day in northwest Connecticut. It's in the 20s and according to the forecast it's going to get a whole lot colder. So I thought we'd do something fun today. Something that is a little more reminiscent of spring, and also I have a lot of news for you. So hang around till the end of the show and learn about all the special offerings I have coming up. And if you don't have your coffee, go ahead and grab a cup of coffee. This might be a little bit longer than usual because we're going to be painting a hummingbird and some flowers in watercolor. And I know you're going to love this, so let's get started. So I have some blocks already mounted. Now, oftentimes I will sketch my subject ahead of time with pencil, but today I thought I would show you a combination of how you can use a stamp. Like I don't know if you can see that little hummingbird right there. This set is free, and the way you get this set is by purchasing $100 of paper crafting items, and I have a host code here. This is good for January, so it's only good until the 31st, which is about 5 days away from now. But if you use this host code and you get some supplies, and I'll list a bunch below after I do the video, you will be eligible to get this stamp set. And this is a big one. There are 17 stamps in here, which is quite a lot. And these are miniature on the cover. They're actually bigger than that, but you can see that you get 2 different sheets. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. The only ones that I'm concerned about today are the hummingbird, the leaves, these flowers that look kind of like freesias to me, but I'm not sure exactly what they are. And then I have a little sentiment, because there are several sentiments in here. You have best wishes, thanks so much, hope, love, thinking of you, hello friend. So I think you can see this is a really nice set that you can use all year round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a watercolor using these images, and then I'm going to show you how to mount that onto a note card so that you can make as many of these as you'd like and send them to all your friends with a lovely note to cheer them up. So let me just, you go grab your coffee. I'm going to make sure that we're connected here. And we are. Okay. Very good. And for my papers today, I'll zoom you in a little bit closer so you can see better. I'm using a piece of watercolor paper. This is cut to 3.5 by 7. And then I've got a green mat here that I'm going to use behind there. And this color is called Old Olive. And this mat measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So it's just a 1/4 inch bigger than my watercolor paper. And I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this is a book fold, but I'm putting it on its side so it's a horizontal tent fold. Alright, so it's going to look something like that, and then I have a really beautiful, very vanilla envelope to match. And these are all the materials that you will find below when I make up the materials list. And these are fine quality archival materials. They're not your, your flimsy everyday kind of papers. These are really lovely. So to demonstrate this technique of combining stamping with watercolor, I'm going to take a kind of a neutral colored ink. This one is called Sahara Sand, and this is one of the older stamp pads. You can see it's been well used. I just re-inked it, so it's really juicy and really dark. So I'm going to show you what to do when you've got too much ink on your pad to begin with. This is a foam pad. So tucked underneath the paper, I think you can see there's a dense foam pad, and that's going to help to cushion my stamp so I get a good impression. And also I can use this scrap paper to stamp off, which is what we do to remove excess ink. So let's begin by stamping our leaf image. I want to be careful I don't get it too dark. So let me make sure I'm on camera here. Here we go. Okay, so stamping off once to remove excess ink, and then just coming over to the upper left corner of my paper, and that gives me just a kind of a light, got a little bit heavier in places. That's probably because I just inked up my pad, but that we're just looking for a vague kind of outline. All of this ink is going to disappear after we wet it. So now I'm going back in. I have my flowers mounted on the opposite side of my block, and again I'm going to stamp off, and I'm going to bring these way down to the corner area here. There we go. Okay, so now let's add our bird. This is, I'm gonna paint this hummingbird as if it were a ruby-throated hummingbird, because those are the ones that I have that come to visit me during the summer, and I just love them. So let's get him so that his beak is close to that flower. Oh, I forgot to stamp off. But that's okay, but look at the difference, all right? So that's a great illustration of what happens when you stamp off, all right? So this is the ink full strength, and here it is stamped off, and that's okay. I mean, I can still make that work, but when you do it, you just stamp it off, and I think you'll have a better result. All right, and then I also have a sentiment here, but I'm not going to add that yet. So we're done with this ink. And I have my watercolors here. So I'm going to be using red, yellow, and blue. And I've got a couple of brushes. And when you, this is going to be one of the subjects in an upcoming watercolor card club that I am scheduling. And in the watercolor card club, you have access to all of the materials lists, the colors, the brushes, all my tips and tricks, and a lot more information than what I'm going to have time to go into right here. But if that's something that is interesting to you, you can subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage Design. And to do that, go to my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com, and you will find a tab for Notes. And that is the way that you can find out more information about all of the online classes, events, special deals, how to get a catalog, just, you know, any kind of communication that I need to share with you or that you may have questions about. Just subscribe to Notes, and then you will have access to all that information. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to take my larger brush and I'm mixing up, let me get you zoomed in a little bit more. There we go. I'm just going to mix up some green, and I've got a lot of paint on my palette already, so this is going to be a kind of a dirty gray green, and that's fine. And to get green, I'm just mixing my yellow and my blue together until I get a nice kind of a medium green, and I'll show you that in just a second. Let me just get this going. So there it is. This is my green mixture, okay? I do not clean my palette from painting to painting unless I'm doing something very light, like for instance, a sky or something, white flowers or something like that. Otherwise, all of the paint that's on the palette is still perfectly good. Now the other thing I'm going to need is a paper towel. So I've got a little sheet of paper towel here. How is everybody? How are you holding up in the new year so far? Oh, I've got people. Let me say hello for a second. Hi, Dawn. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling better. Nice to see you there. It's hard for me to stay on top of comments when I'm painting because I have to concentrate. So forgive me if I don't answer your comment right away. I will do so after the video is over. Okay, so you can see this is a nice kind of a gray green, kind of a dull green, and I like that. So it's just that easy. Now, if you are a paper crafter and you have the, let me show you. If you have these inks, these are water-based inks. They're water soluble, so you can use them just as I'm doing with my watercolors. So the technique is very similar, and the result is a little bit different, but that's a great way to make a quick and easy card. If you have your inks handy and you just want to put a little color, then you can do that with very little effort. Okay, so there are the beginning of my leaves. I'm just going to blend that a little bit better. And we'll come back to the leaves in a little while. Now, I know that the ruby-throated hummingbirds that come to visit my garden are particularly attracted to red flowers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the idea of our native wildflower, the cardinal flower, in the back of my mind here for these blossoms. Even though they're a little too big for a cardinal flower, we will allow for artistic license here. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush so I can get into these little points. And this is a light wash. I'm not going too dark too soon. I'm using plenty of water. and all these beautiful little buds. There we go. Okay, so that's the underpainting for the flowers. We're about halfway through my 6-week beginning watercolor course, and in that course I talk about how to model form for light and shade. And while it's too late, excuse me, let me get a cup of coffee here. Sip. While it's too late now to join, I will be offering another beginning watercolor course in the summer. So you may want to think about that for the future. And in the meantime, there's always my watercolor card club where we paint a new subject every month. And that's a great way to get some watercolor tips. You get a card kit in the mail with everything that you need to make 4 note cards. And there's a video with instruction on how to paint all the different subjects. Okay, so there's the floral portion of our card. Now I'm going to start to paint my bird. So I'm going to take a mixture. All right, so I'm just taking a little bit of everything that's on the palette to get a nice neutral, sort of a gray tone. And I'm adding a lot of water to that. I'm keeping it quite light. And I'm going to start painting. Here we go. And I'm going to keep his belly pale. They have a kind of a palish belly. All right. And then I'm going to give him a little bit of a yellow undertone. And now I'm mixing a very pale green. So I'm taking that same yellow and just adding a little more blue to give it a kind of a greenish quality to it. And I want to make sure I get his beautiful little ruby throat. So for that, I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow because I want this to be a warm kind of a red. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to that green mixture, and this time I'm going to make it a little more on the blue side, so kind of a blue-green, a little darker. These hummingbirds are so amazing that they come back, they remember. So even though they fly hundreds of miles away, because they really don't want to be here on a day like today when it's 20 degrees outside, they come back in the spring right around Memorial Day, or Memorial Day. And I'll be out in the garden doing something, and they'll buzz me. They will come very close and make a loud noise with their wings to let me know that they are back and ready for sugar water. And that's time to get the hummingbird feeder out of the box and cleaned up and ready to go. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm just going to work all around the picture so I can give the different areas a chance to dry. And I'm just checking my reference here for the flowers. So I'm going to draw a little bit with the brush. So I just want to indicate where the center of these flowers are. These are kind of tubular flowers, and those are the ones that the hummingbirds favor because they've got that long beak and they can get it down into the deep center of each flower. So I want to make sure that I put a little darker area in the center to indicate the depths of each blossom. And I'm going to keep this kind of loose. I'm not going to go crazy with the detail here, but I just want to indicate a little bit. The idea about doing these little note cards and these tiny watercolors is that they don't take a long time. You can have a lot of fun spending an afternoon painting some of these things. Maybe you like to do it in the morning with your coffee. And then write some nice notes and send them out. So it's it's a really lovely thing to do because first of all you have the pleasure of creating something lovely, like a beautiful little card with flowers and hummingbirds, and then you can send that out in the mail, which is great for our mail service. Gives them a little bit of business. You can find some really pretty stamps. You might want to practice your calligraphy. I have a design team of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that I work with, and we have meetings every month and parties. We have a party tonight. I'm really excited about that, so I'm looking forward to getting together with all my friends and having a little cocktail and some laughs. But one of the things that's so amazing is all of the different skills and talents and disciplines that the different members of my design team bring to us. So at our last meeting, one of my teammates gave us a demonstration on calligraphy, and it was wonderful. And she showed us how to use white ink on different colored cardstocks and what kind of inks to use. The different pen nibs, the various styles of writing. So whenever we have a team meeting, I always see if I can find somebody to demonstrate something useful to our projects. And calligraphy is a terrific addition to card making because of the wonderful way you can make your envelopes look. Here we go. So that's coming along. I'm just indicating some of the veins in the leaves. Not every single one, you know, be selective, but here and there just enough to give an idea of the characteristic of the leaves, their shapes. This stamp set is really very pretty, and these leaves are very nicely drawn and could be used on a variety of different plants. And of course, you can always create your own design just by the way you stamp things up. So I'll do more of that in February. I'll be coming back to this stamp set again, I think, because it is so pretty and versatile. And remember, it's free. So I'm going to give you that host code again. If you place an order of $100, you can get this stamp set for free. So use that host code that you see on the screen there. I'll also add that down below after the video. And when you subscribe to Notes, I will go into much more detail about these specials that are coming up, because there are a few of them. There are specials for spending $50 on products, and if you're somebody that's just getting started with paper crafting, it's very easy to get yourself set up with a beautiful set of tools, good quality tools and fine quality papers. There's watercolor paper. There are some water brushes and other things that are useful for painting with both watercolors and inks. All right, so I think my flowers are looking pretty good for now, and I just want to get that beautiful ruby throat. So I'm adding a little bit of red on my hummingbird, and I'm being careful to keep his belly pale, because they have that pale kind of a belly, and now I'm just adding a little more red in there just to jazz him up. And next what I want to do is put a little more detail on him. So I'm mixing up a darker bluish green, and I'm just going to indicate some of the feathers on his wings, also on his tail, and just put some strokes there. Make sure we get his beak. And maybe a little more green over here. All right, so that's a good start. I'm happy with that. I'm going to give him a little bit of a shadow underneath here. All right, and maybe just a couple more darks on these flowers. And then I'm just going to connect my buds with a little bit of a green stem here and there. All right, so there is our picture. So that didn't take too long. What time is it? So that took about half an hour, probably less if I wasn't talking so much. And I can see I need a little more green over here. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And for my sentiment, I'm going to be using the Old Olive ink. And this reads Thinking of You, which I think is a really nice kind of a everyday sentiment to have available for when you need to have a card in a hurry. Now, where'd my, got a little bit of ink on the block, so I just want to move that so I don't get it on the card. All right, and then I'm just going to put this, now excuse me if I get my head in the camera as I look at from above here. Give that a nice firm press. There we go. That, it's that easy, folks. The stamps make this just so quick and easy to make a really cute card. And as I said before, these are beautiful quality materials. So you will get wonderful professional results when you use them. So then for to mount this, I'm going to be using my multi-purpose liquid glue. Just going to flip that over, put a very thin bead of glue about 1/4 of an inch or so from the edge, a little bit in the middle. And in the card classes and in the watercolor card club, which is a monthly subscription, all of these mats and papers are pre-cut, so you don't even have to worry about sizes or anything. You get everything you need all made up, all ready to go. Okay, so when you're happy with the placement, you can flip that over, and I'm going to find my bone folder. This is a bone folder. This is a great tool to make sure that you have a good adhesion to your card, and it helps to distribute the glue so you don't have any lumps and bumps. And then finally, a little bit of glue on the back of my mat. And this is a very vanilla card base. This is a half sheet, standard size, so the finished card measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just going to, because the art size is a little narrower than the card, I just raise it up a little bit so that you get that little extra area along the bottom, and that helps to balance out the mat. Okay, and again, the bone folder. You have to have a bone folder. I love my bone folder. Give that a good burnish. And here's my envelope and my card. Get that so you can see it. And here is the address of the website. And it looks like I've got some people on here. Hi, Jackie. Nice to have you. Kathy, Dawn. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. So I just want to say again that the next edition of Notes from Dandelion Cottage comes out on February 1st. And this is going to be a really special issue because there's going to be a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to be talking about several different things, including these wonderful classes that are coming up and this fantastic deal to get these free items, which is only good, by the way, until February 28th, the end of February. So this is the last 4 weeks for you to get in on these special deals, and this only happens once or twice a year, so it's important to check it out. If you need a catalog or a celebration brochure, I'll be happy to send you one. And again, there's a place in Notes where you can go to order a catalog from me. And there's only 5 more days to register for the Blue Valentine class, so there's still time. If you'd like to give your loved ones some beautiful handmade valentines, I'm going to be sending out card kits to be able to do that. You'll have everything you need except glue. You just need to get yourself some of this Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue is what I recommend, but any kind of white glue will work. And yeah, so much more. And I know I've got lots of other things to share with you, but we're running a little bit long here on this video, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. But please subscribe to Notes, and I will see you next time on Paper Crafting Saturday. Stay well, stay creative, and I will see you then.